All right, you begin approaching the home of Nicola Lupe. Nicola's mansion is not huge, but it is well built and seems well maintained as well. You don't see any activity, although there are windows here you can see through. You don't see anything happening inside. What would you like to do?
On the way over there, Cersei takes off her face mask, which she's been using partially to keep her face warm during all the cold, but started to sweat back in that workshop. So she just tucks that away and
All right. What would you like to do? You are outside a mansion.
look in the window.
You don't really see anything. I mean, you can see, all right, what you can see is that it seems to be very richly furnished. And I will say, especially Cersei, perhaps the pale medic as well, and Moriarty, if he's ever looked into the more sort of esoteric elements of the world, you can see that what maybe seems to be being displayed as more decorative objects appear to actually be legitimate occult artifacts.
Hmm. It's got some very interesting objects of potential power, I guess. Maybe you could put it. Objects of the arcane arts.
The Oda would have a field day.
I take it you mean knowingly.
Knowing they would have a field day?
No. That the individual knowingly understands what it is that he has.
Oh, I have no idea. It's just they're all out and displayed, so maybe they're just keepsakes, or maybe he's just a collector and has nothing to do with the arts. I don't know. Would seem he has some knowledge, though.
You can't say for certain because you don't
It's a
know his
peak.
motivations, I suppose, but it would be a very large coincidence for him to have collected all these accidentally. That would sort of leave two main options. One, he doesn't know much about magic in the sense that he can't practice it, but he has an interest,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps academic, and he's collected it, or he wants them because he wants to do dark magic. Who can say?
Or he's a charlatan and wants to impress his visitors. But since he doesn't get visitors very often, that's probably not the case either.
He's like, when, but on the rare occasions I do have visitors, I will seem very menacing.
Well, I guess we're here. Should we knock?
Uh,
Moriarty, you're used to dealing with the rich and famous, right?
I'm not sure this individual is either, but he raps on the door.
oh, you know he's very wealthy.
Okay. Correct.
All right. There is not an immediate response because for there to be an immediate response, somebody would have had to just be standing on the other side of the door, and it doesn't seem anybody was. But after a short amount of time, you hear footsteps approaching, and then the door opens. And a man, a middle aged man, a bit sort of severe looking and very well dressed, is there, and he says, "Can I help you?"
Yes. There is answers to questions that are needed. We have travelled quite some way to put some concerns at rest. Is this a butler?
This is a butler. You get the sense that he hasn't announced himself as "I am a butler. What can I do for you?"
Yeah.
But you get the sense he's probably a butler.
It is imperative that we talk with your betters.
I am afraid that the master of the house is unavailable at the moment.
I am not sure why that would cause you fear.
In that case, I am sorry to disappoint you that the master of the house is currently unavailable.
And again, why do you lie, sir? Hiding behind your civility, you're not sorry.
It's called being polite.
Something Moriarty doesn't know about, apparently. If there is nothing else, I am unable to fulfill your request, and truth be told, I do not answer to you in any way, so I suppose I must bid you good day.
I would like to actually not fail this roll.
It's a good thing to what?
I have clashed with heroes, nobles, and religious people, and I know how to deal with each of them. I would like
And
to.
is he a hero, a noble, or a religious person?
Oh well, okay. I took.
All right, all right, all
He's
right.
he's part of their entourage.
Yeah, I took it that
I'll let you. I'm being mean.
I know. He
Deal
would
with
like
his people.
to convince him that it's in his best interest to not be an idiot.
All right, the opposition level is 5.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I am sure you recognize Miss Snow. That was 1. That number has now multiplied by 3 into 4. If we don't get the answers that we require,
1 times 3 is 3.
It
and
multiplied by
Moriarty
4.
smacks him,
Shh.
that number will keep increasing, as will the inconvenience and the frustration and the complication. To not your miserable pleb life, but your master's. It would be in his, but also yours, best interest to not oppose us at every step of the way, especially the first one.
He seems to consider your thinly veiled threat, and eventually, looking at you, will say, my employer is still indisposed, and nothing will change that, but I suppose I can allow you in, and I will speak with my co-workers? I don't know what he'd think of them as. What's a butler think a cook and an accountant are to him?
Below him, definitely.
I shall speak with the other employees.
Staff.
Yes,
Speak to the
them.
staff.
I shall speak with them. You may come in. You may be seated, and he'll lead you to a small sort of drawing room and gesture. There's some furniture. It's very fancy. It doesn't look particularly comfortable, but it is there.
Moriarty will seat himself.
And he will say, I will discuss the situation with the other manor staff.
See? It is possible for you to make a good decision when you try.
He will go away, and you hear some sort of concerned muttering from an adjoining room. You hear 3 voices. Eventually, the butler will return with 2 more figures, a slightly younger man and a woman, and they will all be looking at you with a degree of concern, although you get the sense it's also mixed with annoyance. And the butler will say, "It really is quite impossible for you to meet Master Lupe at the moment.
Because
If
it
you
is
would
still
like to,
light.
I suppose there is still light. If you would like to come back at a later time, he will be available. Perhaps. But now, he is not."
I do not mind waiting.
Sort of narrows his eyes at you. You wish to wait however long it takes?
Indeed.
And they look at each other, and the younger man sort of looks to the butler and makes a motion with his head, and the woman seems to sort of be unsure, but you get the sense they've discussed possibilities based on what you're going to do, and then the younger man pulls out a butcher's knife, and you're in combat.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that was going to be a thing.
Look, they defend their employer with their lives, okay?
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say Cersei could regale them with the tale of the butler who got squished by an elephant, but
The butler who got squished, when did that happen?
in about 5 minutes.
You can't. You're inside. The elephant's
It's a
gonna.
big room.
It'll be
It's
bigger
not.
sooner.
It's a little man.
Could be a little smaller elephant.
Small elephant. A pygmy elephant.
Right.
It's not very good at smushing.
But do you
A
really
teacup
want to
elephant.
You really want to be stomped by even a baby elephant? I don't.
There are 3 of them, and it is player actions first. You have a. You can assume he's the cook because you were told there was a cook, a butler, and an accountant. The man who's pulled out the butcher's knife, you assume is probably the cook. The butler was already accounted for, which means you can probably assume the lady's an accountant. And they are all 3 glaring at you. One with a knife a little more vehemently than the others. Player actions first.
May I go first?
You may.
Yes, you may.
Cersei sees what was happening and is watching the play back and forth between the two, getting a little more anxious each moment. And then when the last bit of furtive glances between each of the 3 staff happens, she stands up, puts her bag on the floor, and will very saucily walk towards the butler, throws her arms around his neck and jumps up into his arms, and engages her dark ego, Goddess Blood.
All right.
The trigger is unleash your divine power with a charming or swaggering attitude at the most inopportune time.
I think that works, yes. And what's it gonna do?
All right. You have the power of the goddess within you, even if you do not know how to use it. When you activate your aura, you choose an NPC which will be kind to you and try to fulfill your every wish. This gift will have no effect on someone who has hostile intentions towards you, but you will gain 2 additional successes on all defense checks you make. Since even to those who hate you, harming seems to be an unnatural action. And I can activate all my travel companion gifts at once on Euro Locus. All
All
at
right.
the same time.
So he is hostile towards you. So I think that means from what it sounded like, he won't do whatever you want, but it's harder for him to attack you,
Yes.
is what
So
it sounds like.
I'm kind of picturing at the moment I'll jump up. He doesn't catch me.
Yeah,
And I
he's
fall
like,
to the
I
floor and
still
roll
want to
away.
fight you.
Yes. So I'll fall to the floor and roll away out of the way, and
Oh
so
no.
maybe be a little less of a threat to him, so he's less likely to go for me right away.
Okay, okay.
But I will look to. I always get his name wrong.
Moriarty?
Ural. No, I'll
Ah.
look to my pig, Ural. Snap my fingers towards him, and he'll turn into an angry grizzly bear.
Oh ho ho.
Probably a relatively large grizzly bear, but I mean, grizzly bears are large anyway, so I don't have to do anything with size on that.
The doctor would like to boost Moriarty.
Okay.
Yay, Moriarty!
Yeah, he just starts talking
He's
you
a
up.
Don't
Moriarty
suck this
booster.
time. Okay.
All right, so what does that do again? Does that give you an additional success until I think that's what that one does,
I
right?
think it gives you an additional success, and then you have to roll to keep it.
Yeah.
Yes. So
5
every
and
time
6
you
fails.
use that, you roll, and a 5 or 6 means you lose the boost.
Okay.
All right. What would Moriarty like to do?
Moriarty will pull his pistol, and as the individual has pulled the cleaver and is a threat, and the butler is a rude annoyance, he's going to choose the most annoying and dangerous individual in the room. He's going to shoot the accountant.
I thought that's where that was going. All right. You need to make your position check. The opposition level is 5.
And he
I'll
will.
accept that that was perhaps underhanded, as they might have expected you to go for the person with a weapon.
um, so I had 6 successes, so that it is a standard outcome.
Standard outcome. Okay, and you used the additional from the boost,
I
right?
did, so I
So
have
okay,
to-
so roll a d6.
Six, so it
And
goes
you
on this one.
lost it.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you did get to use it once. Okay.
So he moves around using the furniture and sort of feinting so that they think he's attacking someone else, and then he turns and fires a round that hits her close in the chest somewhere. And the smell of cordite and the crack of the pistol is in the room. And a brief scream from her as the bullet penetrates her body and she falls from view.
She is going to hold out her hands towards the cook, as he is the one holding a knife, and she's a little bit worried that he could pose a threat. And between her outstretched hands, you see a small magical energy begin to collect, and it seems almost like little particles are convening between her hands, like she's pulling something from the air around her. And she is going to attempt to freeze the cook. All right. Miss Snow began collecting a magical energy between her hands, and it was sort of shimmering there. It seemed very much like tiny ice crystals were gathering between her hands, but after a moment, it seemed to fizzle and just sort of die out, and she just looked a little confused and unhappy about that, but she's not able to do anything else for the moment. The butler is going to use a gift that he has. And that is that he cannot be blocked when moving in the mansion. So he is going to run out of the room, and you see him heading down some steps. The cook, however, is still standing there with a butcher knife, and he is going to go for somebody, and I'm going to roll to make it fair.
The accountant.
She
I'm-
is down. He's not going to go for her.
I'm probably closest.
You want? Okay. Actually, that's true because you did move forwards. Fine.
Mhm.
He is going to slash at Cersei with a knife, and you need to make a defense check. You need a 5 to succeed.
All right. I gain 2 additional on
Successes,
my
yep.
defense. Yeah.
Because. Or no, wait. Is that only on the person you did it to? Because that was the butler.
No, when you activate this aura, you choose an NPC, which is kind to you. This
Yeah, you chose the butler,
gift will
right?
know. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Additional hostile intentions towards you, but you will gain 2 additional success in all defense checks you make, since even those who hate you, harming you seems an unnatural action. I don't know. When I first read that, I thought it was more the aura thing, not necessarily the NPC who I was trying to get to do something.
It's tricky because it does say
I think-
all defense checks, but it probably needs to be a little bit better worded on their side.
I think it's because you choose an NPC who will be kind to you. I feel like it's just the one you chose, but
Yeah, I kind of saw that as 2 different parts of the power, but okay.
they probably need clarification on that because I can see it being read both ways.
And can
5.
you use anything to help your
Yeah, absolutely.
defense?
So you can always spend Soma to gain an additional success if you want to. You can roll for additional successes. And do you have anything that would give you a 3 instead of a 1 on defending or dodging or anything like that?
Only if Yuri gets in here sooner, but probably not quite yet. Nope, I'm
Okay.
good.
So then you'd be starting with a 1. You can spend Soma if you want to buy additional successes or roll however many you want to obtain them that way.
And if you equal what you need, that
Then
does what
you
again?
have that's an outcome with cost. So something would go slightly wrong. If you get 1 over, standard outcome just goes exactly how you want it. And 2 over, outcome with increment goes even better than you wanted.
All right, so I need to roll. Uh, and I need a 5, you said?
That is, yeah. You with a 5, you would have outcome with cost.
All right, rolling 66.
Oh,
I have a
so
1.
close.
So
So
close
There
until
was
that
only
last
1.
Yep.
All right. The cook is going to slash out wildly at Cersei with the cleaver, and he doesn't get a very deep cut, but he will slash her arm, and that will be 1 wound.
Okie dokie. I will scream. This will probably infuriate Yuri. Who
Who's
I
like,
did.
hey,
Yes. Wounds. Got it.
okay. Now, we are in the next exchange, but before anybody does anything, something happens. The butler who left has returned with another figure. Walking up the stairs a little more calmly now, he'd run off sort of frantically, but now that he has those back up, the butler seems to be back to his sort of calm demeanor, and walking behind him is a figure in a red coat. He looks very pale and gaunt and exceedingly tired and rather annoyed. And he is going to say, please, could everybody just stop? You've already hurt Verna, from what I hear. Can we have no more of this? I will explain whatever you wish me to, but can we stop, please?
Well, well, well. What have we here? Nikola, hmm? Should we be scared?
I don't wish you to be.
You are the one everyone's been talking about.
Look, can we all agree, Yori, please put the knife away. I thank you for your dedication, but I'd rather handle this differently. And the cook sort of agrees and he tucks the knife away.
I kick him in the
And
shin.
you kick him?
Kick him in the shin. He just cut me.
It, he looks a little annoyed, but Nikola told him not to stab anyone anymore, so he's
Yeah, put it away.
not gonna stab anyone
Gonna
anymore.
hurt somebody with that.
The butler heads over to who you were told was Verna, and he starts sort of trying to tend to her wound. And Nikola says, "Can we please just agree to stop fighting? I will answer any questions. I will explain whatever you wish. I would appreciate if you would not hurt anyone else here."
They start.
I will get up and I will flop onto one of the most expensive looking couches and bleed on it a little bit.
He doesn't seem bothered by that.
Mm,
All the upholstery seems to be red anyway.
Take something out of my bag and stuff it into the wound and just pat Ural's, grizzly size back and get him to sit.
There are many concerns that people have. So many, in fact, that both your reputation and the situation has reached across borders. We came in search of our missing companion, and she too had rather unhelpful information in any way of putting this matter to a satisfactory close. So here we came, finding workers who do not seem to be of a right state of mind, who do not seem to wish to see their families, and then we get attacked by a cook and an accountant.
From what I hear, Verna did not attack you at all.
Only because she was slow.
Only because players always go before NPCs. Look. The situation has gotten out of hand. I have been attempting to manage things as best I can, but I suppose I am unable to do so at the moment.
Miss Snow is quite capable and of reasonable mind. She would have been able to have dealt with you fairly. That does not seem to have happened.
And he looks at her rather apologetically. I had hopes that she would be able to help in a way, not a pleasant way. I am sorry to say, but you people are different, stronger. I had hoped that someone like you would. I don't know where to begin.
The beginning? Page 1? the start.
The beginning was a long time ago. Look, I was born in Romania. Many years ago, I enjoyed studying. The occult was always an interest of mine, I suppose, but I had no aptitude for it in that sense. Not until I found a mentor of sorts, a genius, really. He was a fascinating man, and he took me in as a protege, and I was, well, I did not know what was going to happen. I did not know what he was. I did not know what he would make me. And I swear to you that I have never tasted human blood. I live off of the animals surrounding, but I moved here because it was a small, quiet village where I could live alone, bother no one, and not be bothered. I could make my creations, and in doing so, I was able to help the town. It was fine. Everything was fine. What went wrong, I suppose, was that I never lost my interest in studying the occult. Studying, still, not practicing, but I found something. I didn't know what it was, not until it ate a chunk of my flesh, and upon doing so, seemed to awaken in itself some unending hunger. Now, I can regenerate flesh. At first, I thought it was fine. I would feed it pieces of myself, but it its hunger grew faster than I could regrow myself. I could have healed myself faster if I resorted to drinking human blood, but I didn't wish to. I tried feeding the thing animals. That hardly stopped it. Eventually, I did not know what to do. I asked the villagers for a donation. Those who could not pay, I took someone. I did not feed them to the thing. Uh, I would never hurt anyone who lives here. The people who live here, I would not. But I did. Uh, enchant sounds so. I don't know. Those who
Gross?
live here now, forgive me?
Gross? It sounds so gross.
Hmm, perhaps.
Well, here is where the problem has so begun. Those that have left the village have never returned. They have never been in contact.
No, they have not. They serve me now. They
Yes,
stay here and they help me. They
and
help me doing doing something that you will not approve of.
but that
No.
has led to a growing level of fear. And that fear has now reached a point where families with young children are feeling that they will be taken in the night, like from some Rumpelstiltskin or Piper, although having met the man, he wouldn't do that. But they
I,
feel
t-
that that is very much a thing that is going to be.
I told you that things have gotten rather out of control. I Those who work for me have assisted me in, well, finding people to feed the creature. Merchants, mainly traders. I had hoped that your friend there, being not a normal human, would satisfy its hunger for a bit longer. However, my over eagerness seems to have caused an even greater problem. You see, the reindeer, I can have them capture, more like drag to the lair of the thing. She escaped, but something she had with her, well, they brought it. They fed it to the thing, and it seems to have made it stronger. So, that is all that I know. A monstrous creature is living beneath the village. I have been trying to feed it because if I do not, it will attack those who live here.
You are clearly an individual with some intellect. How did you let such a stupid situation develop? Outside of obvious hubris.
Not by intention, I assure you.
And as for feeding people to it, could you have not found more acceptable propositions?
I told
Rapists,
you I.
criminals, accountants?
Yes. I tried at the start to select more carefully and choose only the most unsavory individuals. However, the thing's hunger grows, and there are very few people to choose from out here. As I said, this village is under my protection, and I will never target those within it. Therefore, anyone from outside it became fair game,
But
I
you are
suppose.
targeting it, sir. That village of plebs relies on trade to survive. By removing the merchants, it is sending a message to the other towns that that road and the roads that lead here are dangerous and that they're better off going elsewhere. On top of that, their trade has been cut. They are not receiving the items that they so desperately need. You may not be targeting them like a military force, but you are effectively starving them.
I am not. I can support this village with my own finances if need be. I am still able to export what I make, and I have not taken every merchant that comes into town.
Enough that they are gravely concerned.
They have concerns. Their concerns are unfounded, but I am hardly unlikely. I am not going to explain to them why they need not fear a decrease in trade when I am trying to protect them from a monster that lurks beneath their very feet.
A monster that has grown, and when it grows again, then what? At what point and what plan do you have when this situation becomes increasingly untenable, which it is not far off being?
I told you that it is already out of my control. That is why I am telling you anything. Were it not, I should simply have continued the fight. I don't want anyone else here to be hurt.
So what are you going to do then?
I am asking you for assistance.
Why are you still taking tribute from the town?
I. He looks more guilty. I didn't. I needed something to justify taking people to work for me. It seemed as though I don't know. It gave me a reason.
But only for the first year.
And now everyone pays. The money that I get from them. I tried feeding it to the thing, you know? It eats it. It doesn't seem opposed, but I do not know that it really
Hmm.
makes a dent in its hunger as compared to other things. I now spend the extra money in, well, attempting to buy things to feed it. Anything. I've tried artifacts of power. I've tried large cuts of meat. I have tried rare delicacies to see if it has, I don't know, any particular preferences. It
And does
hungers
it?
eternally, it seems.
Hmm. So with dark magic, you've opened up a hole that just needs more and more.
I didn't create it. It is a thing that I found.
And do you still have whatever it is that you found?
Yes, what I found was the thing. The creature. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a bag. It when I first found it, it was dormant, I suppose. It seemed more object than creature. As soon as I touched it, it sprang to life and attacked.
Ah, and that is when it bit you.
Yes.
Hmm. It,
It is like a sack with teeth. It it seems to be almost endless. Certainly things can go into it that are bigger than should be able to. I have tested it. I fed it a whole cow and it was able to eat it, although it is not the size. Well, it wasn't the size of one then. It has grown. But no matter how big it grows, it still seems capable of taking more inside it than it should reasonably be able to fit.
hmm. And have you tried any attacks on it? Fire, for instance.
I have tried all that I can. It is dangerous. It will attack if you get too close or it thinks you are hostile.
And you said it's under the town?
There are caves, uh, tunnels. The closest entrance that I know of is very near my home. That is where I have been going to feed it.
And it doesn't like eating reindeer, I assume.
I have fed it some. However, those that I keep are more useful in helping me obtain things to feed it, I find.
Hmm.
They continue constantly finding what they can, animals mainly, although those hardly seem to slow its hunger for long.
And you can call these reindeer?
Yes, they listen to me. I have made them what they are.
And how many are there?
I do not have an exact number. Some are killed, some have been eaten by the creature when they brought it food, I am sure. I could
Hmm.
make more if I needed to. There are reindeer aplenty that are not mine.
And does it seem to be stronger after you feed it?
That I could not say. I do not often try and engage in battle with it.
Hmm.
At this point, all I can do, to my knowledge, is feed it.
Because you've created another problem with your reindeer.
And what is that?
They're attacking people.
Yes, of
If we,
course.
if we get rid of this thing, what are you going to do with the reindeer?
They will listen to me. They won't try and attack anyone to feed the creature if the creature is no more.
Hmm. Sounds like an echo of your first problem again.
How so?
You didn't think the bag was any big deal either to begin with.
Yes, but it is not magically under my control.
And the reindeer are?
Yes.
I thought you said you did not practice magic.
I said I did not until I was taken in
Ah.
as protege by a man who turned out to be a vampire. Now I am many things I did not used to be and can do many things I was not previously able to do.
And your mentor could not help you with it.
He is, if he still lives, still in Romania. Once he made
Ah.
me what I am, I left. Fled is probably most accurate. I have not seen him since.
Hmm. And what
Uh,
happens if you don't feed this?
then it will go on a rampage and eat the villagers.
So it's mobile.
Certainly. But as long as I feed it, it has no reason to leave its cave.
Miss Snow, you are possibly the most trained in the arcane arts.
Um it is kind of you to say so. However, I think that Cersei perhaps is more so. I do know one thing. I know what he means that he said when the reindeer attacked me, they were not able to drag me to this creature's lair, but that they took something. A treasure of the order that I brought with me uh, when I fled. I did not have it with me anymore. I thought perhaps I had simply lost it in my, well, escape, but it sounds as though the reindeer fed it to this creature and that it made it stronger.
I take back saying you were competent. And what was this treasure?
A mirror, largely broken. The mirror of the other self.
The keeper of treasures will not be impressed with you.
Well, perhaps if we can deal with the creature, we could retrieve it, and then I would not have to face the wrath of Karen. She is rather alarming.
Well then, Cersei, how do you think we should tackle this supernatural creature? I can shoot it, but I feel that it is not going to be the most effective way of dealing with such a beast.
Most of my training with the masters has been more of a potion variety. There might be something maybe I can concoct
Is there a
that may
magical
help.
poison?
I'm sure there are. I usually don't deal with those. But if I talk to Nicholas a little bit more and find out some of the things he's tried, maybe I can concoct something that might at least slow it down. Seems
And
to me most of these things can, if you can destroy them, like fire seems to be a very universal means of dealing with it.
Nikola will say, I could assist you. There are two ways that I could think of that I could do so. Um, One, I have some experience in dealing with it. I could try and draw its attention, giving you time to do something. Or, well, I would not relish doing so, I could. I have done this once before as a bit of an experiment. I am remarkably hard to kill. In fact, there are only really two ways that I know of that you could do so permanently, and neither of them involve being devoured by a large bag like creature. So, I could enter the thing, which would at the very least prevent it from devouring someone else for a short period of time, or would allow me, as I have discovered, to retrieve something from inside it. You see, this creature, any objects it eats simply remain within it. I could try and find your mirror if you wish.
What does the mirror do? Asking Miss
Miss
Snow.
Snow says, um, well, it is a little difficult to explain. Well, if we do find it, I wouldn't look into it if I were you, because it sort of makes you what you aren't, really. It was created by a craftsman who wished to use it to sabotage all his rivals, really. His idea was that when they looked into it, what they were, talented craftsmen, they would become the opposite of and no longer be talented. However, he accidentally looked into it
Hmm.
himself and lost the ability to create anything. He smashed it in a rage, and now it is largely shattered. There are pieces of it that the Order does not know the location of, but the pieces that remained in the frame, I had the. I had it with me. It belongs to the Order, not me, but it's hard to describe. I've always seemed to have a particular connection with that object in particular.
Hmm. And does it still work even though it's smashed?
Yes, any fragment of it will function pretty much as the whole.
Well, there you go. If we had the mirror and this beastie looked into it, would that not
I
cure the
don't
problem?
know that it would work on a creature. As far as I know, it's really only people that it does anything to. It would be rather difficult to test, I suppose, because if you, for example, showed a dog the mirror, how would you know? I suppose if it had been a very good dog and then it suddenly started to act out,
Could try it on a deer, reindeer.
uh, I
You
don't know
really
what would
are
happen if you
something,
did.
sir. I cannot imagine anyone else who has been able to weaponize a bag of holding.
A what?
I
I assure you, it does more than hold things. It has teeth. It
Yes, hence
eats.
the weaponization.
Look, I am asking you for your assistance, please.
Oh, well, we're going to give it, sir. We're going to give it. It's why we were sent.
It's a matter of how can we destroy it.
Retrieving the mirror is certainly beneficial. It will make it weaker. That is something we do need it to be. But
Then
weaker does not make it weak. How do we dispose of it? We do not have fire. We have ice.
I I I cannot do anything with fire, no, but I could certainly attempt to freeze it.
And that does not damage it. That slows it. Is that correct?
It could. No, I can damage things with ice.
Okay. And you, good doctor, What are your thoughts on this unpleasant sack?
This is not a scenario that should have happened at all. There should have been many precautions that, I suppose, have not been taken. I'm no use in dealing damage to it. I might be able to improve some of the magic used, but other than that, I'm useless.
How big is it then? Bigger than a person?
Oh, at the moment, certainly, yes.
Hmm. Bigger than your bed?
Last I saw it? Well, my bed hmm, is perhaps not what you are picturing. Bigger than my coffin, yes.
You actually have a coffin. Hmm.
Yes, it's rather lovely, actually.
All right, bigger than this rug. And she points to the rug that's on the dining
How
room
big
floor.
is the rug she's pointing at?
We'll say 6 by 9.
Perhaps a similar size?
Hmm.
Do you have silver bullets?
No.
Could you make some?
No. I am not a silversmith.
You are consistent in your disappointment, sir.
I have offered to allow this creature to devour me to buy you time or to fish your artifact out of it. I do not know what else you wish from me.
Silver bullets, clearly. They couldn't hurt.
Well, we hope they would hurt, actually.
Well, yeah. I don't know if they would have any additional effect.
I still feel that we must either cleave it or set it on fire. Acid, perhaps. Maybe that's something I can make.
Do you
The
have
ingredients are
alcohol?
around.
Pure.
I have alcohol. I do not have like is he asking for 100% alcohol? The guy just has drinking alcohol, not that.
If you're looking for something that burns, I mean,
Yes,
any
I
of the
am.
lamps.
We will not have explosives, but if it's fire, we might be able to create something.
And any of your occult knowledge come to bear on this?
Look,
Do you know what we could use to hurt it?
if I knew, I would have done so already.
You seemed rather reluctant to attack it, so I wasn't sure if you had tried or not.
I have tried. As I told you, I have tried several things, including allowing it to eat me to see if I could fight it from the inside. I could not. However, luckily, as I said, I tend to reform. Is that the word? I don't know.
Hmm.
I can do many things. Remarkably unhelpful in this situation. I can heal myself. As I said, I can let it eat me. That's really all I can do with that. I can turn into mist,
Hmm.
which,
So have you tried fire on it?
yes, I tried setting it alight. Nothing really happened.
It did not burn, or it put it out?
It didn't catch.
Hmm.
It isn't really. It's hard to describe it. It looks like a bag. It's not truly made of cloth, I don't think.
Can I make any kind of knowledge roll on what can help unwind or unravel a magical construct?
While I am not fully happy with the propositions put forward, I do feel that I agree with Cersei. The mirror is a problem. If it made it stronger, it cannot remain. Whatever we do to end it, that mirror cannot be there. It'll only make our task far more difficult while it is.
Well, maybe if we're lucky, if we pull out the mirror too, it'll weaken it enough that it will slow it down for a time.
I suppose that is possible if it has come to depend on the power of the thing somehow.
Shock to its
I
system.
cannot claim to be an expert on magical, deadly bags.
You're
Miss
as much an
Snow,
expert as anyone.
you will have
Yes?
to attack it as best you can with your magic.
Yes, I will.
I am not sure what you are comfortable with doing, Cersei.
I have a potion that may also slow it down slightly.
Oh, that sounds
That
like
will
it would be
make it
helpful.
easier to deal with. Yes.
Very good.
I do not want any of us, or other than Nikola, getting too close.
Well, also Yuri can help. He can take one of my potions and become like a grizzly again and tear into it that way. It may not significantly hurt it, but it might keep it busy as well.
Hopefully, we can wear it down.
I still say fire. It is a cleansing source in most arcane aspects.
Well, you are free to bring matches or something, I suppose, if you have any. If not, I could give you some.
Well,
But
that
I
and some of
cannot.
your lamp oil would be great, yes.
Very well. And he will provide you with matches and lamp oil.
All right. Shall we go kill a bag?
Nikola leads you out of the house and down a path that sort of slopes a little ways down a hill, and eventually you find yourselves at the opening of a large natural cave. There is a very prevalent smell of death and decay wafting from it, and the cave mouth is clear of snow, indicating you think that either multiple people have passed through here or something large.
Or she just hasn't gone in at all.
Very fair. Inside, you can see human remains and various objects strewn about the tunnel, and it seems to continue a long way into the dark.
Hmm.
The creature is in here. It is most likely sleeping. However, if anyone is too loud or turns a light on, it will wake up. Therefore, if you wish to get to it undetected, we would need to walk quietly in the dark.
As you say.
All right. There won't be all these bones and such scattered all the way, will there? That does not seem to be a very quiet route then.
The bones are all sort of pushed to the sides of the tunnel as though something moving through them,
That makes
through the
sense.
tunnel, has sort of pushed everything off to the sides. So you should be able to walk. I mean, if it's very dark, you might not see something and you might step on it, but at least where you are now, you think if you just walk down the middle, you're probably in the clear.
Okay. When does a scene start? Is this the start of a scene?
This, I would say, is the start of a new scene.
All right. I am going to spend a soma
Okay.
And Yuri will take a human form.
Aha.
Handsome young man with flowing blonde hair. Doesn't speak at all, but I do give him the lamp oil and the matches. And he has another potion tucked uh, in a sash that I tie around him with. Just taking off the scarf and using that
All right.
because I assume he's naked as well.
I was going to say, do we have some clever
Maybe
camera angles too?
I mean, you said that the pig had a little like knitted vest or something.
That's true. Good point.
Maybe he's got that
Does
too.
the vest also?
but
Does the vest
nothing
though?
else, I
Good
guess.
point.
He looks
Hangs like a
completely
loincloth.
ridiculous.
It's like
This-
Winnie the Pooh. It's
This
just the
handsome
shirt.
naked guy with this knitted vest.
It's
Yes, it just hangs around like a loincloth right in front.
it's very dark. Nobody can see. It's fine.
I hope it doesn't fall.
Probably. Everyone's
All right.
too worried about the monstrous creature anyway. To worry about some nudity.
He's just happy there's no social media because he'd never lived that down.
Take a few moments to make sure he understands what he has to do. That when Nikola, point to him, goes into the bag, that he moves around to the side, dumps the oil on, sets it on fire.
Nicholas says, I would appreciate if you did not light it on fire while I was in it.
Yeah, but you said it doesn't do anything to it, right? Until it's weakened?
No, I made no such claim. I said I didn't know that fire would do anything to it at all, that I've never seen it catch.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I explained that to Yuri, sort of.
All right, wait till he's out.
Yeah, wait till we have the mirror.
Yeah.
And
It's like, look, I've already
Nicola's coming
agreed
up.
to be eaten. I do not wish to be burned alive as well, even if it isn't permanently deadly. It is remarkably unpleasant.
Well, it has to go through the bag first before it gets to you, so. Just don't dawdle in there, that's all.
Just don't get distracted by all the shiny objects and just hang out inside the bag monster for, you know.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I found a chair, I
Just-
fed it, and
just
I'm just gonna sit
stand-
here and
Stand in
read the-
there and start pitching things out.
read the book I fed it, and I
We're
don't
gonna
know.
need a bigger bag.
Yep. All right. And continuing through the tunnel, you get eventually to sort of larger cavern. It's not massive, but it's bigger than the width of the tunnel you've been walking down. And you hear a strange sound. It's not exactly snoring. It is some sort of breathing, you think, although it's not quite like what normal breathing would sound like. But then again, you don't really know what a bag breathing would sound like. So it is a sort of rhythmic sound, and if it were breathing, you would say it was slow, regular breathing. So Nicola said the creature was likely asleep. It seems possible.
That's okay, we're being nice and quiet.
Says, yeah. Jangling. As soon as it wakes up, it's not really going to be difficult to get inside it. Is there anything you wish me to do first, or should I simply throw myself into the maw of the creature?
No, sir, a leap of faith. God damn. Blah. No, sir, a leap of faith is all that is required.
Oh, And you're sure you'll be okay?
Most likely. As I said, I've done it once before.
All
If you
right.
do light it on fire, I can't guarantee the two things combined will not.
Miss Snow,
do
how big is
something.
the mirror?
The mirror?
Yeah, how big is it?
Miss Snow looks at you and says, it's a hand mirror, so it's
Oh,
quite
okay.
small.
Okay.
How long do you expect this to take, sir?
Expect what to take?
You, inside, to find the
I
mirror.
cannot say exactly. It will really depend on exactly how long ago it ate the mirror. If anything else has sort of buried it. How easy it is for me to climb back out. It's. Look, I cannot give you an exact time. I am sorry.
Very well.
Well, we can't really do anything until you're done then, because if we harm it, we might
Well, please feel
trap
free
you.
to attack it if you wish to hit it or shoot it or anything. That is not going to bother me. It's simply the idea of lighting the whole thing on fire while I am inside it that I find distasteful.
Okay.
All right. Do we wish to wake the sleeping beast?
Yes, Moriarty's going to shoot it once everyone's in position.
Great. Okay, you can make a position check. You need a 7.
Oh, joy. I can't take cover.
You want that? Okay.
I don't want that, but I'm.
No, I know, but
Does cover help in this game?
no. There's not really mechanics for things like that.
Okay.
I
But
mean, a GM
in,
can
It
move.
becomes a situational thing.
It
Gotcha.
can move an opposition level in a lot of their games, like 1 up or 1 down, if you've got either something that's cool or situational that you can create. But
Okay. So when it wakes up, does it open its front?
not instantly. And I will say that since it's now woken up, Nikola will. It's already awake. Light a lantern that he brought with him because it's going to be easier for everyone if they can see. And once the lantern is lit, you see the creature that he has been discussing. And what it looks like is a huge, dirty, red, blood encrusted sack. It has a large mouth full of very sharp teeth. You don't see any eyes. You're not sure if it can exactly see you, but it is quite clearly able to sense that there are people there, both because it has been shot at, which made a loud sound. Well, it has been shot, not just shot at. And there is no light, and there is noise. It knows there are people there. It's sort of beginning to move and gnash its teeth a little bit, and you can see that it is able to move almost like a large worm. It kind of crawls along the ground. And how exactly is Moriarty's bullet hitting the giant thing?
he steps out and he pulls the trigger, and it crashes as the round punctures into the side. And he actually sees some of the threads being torn, which he did not completely expect to happen. Then the lamp comes on, and his eyes, which were accustomed more to the dark, are now somewhat blinded as he's trying to cover his eyes a little with hand, keeping his fingers open so that he can sort of see, but not quite as well as before.
Okay. Who would like to do something next?
Yeah, I need an open mouth or a mouth that's opening and closing before I can do my thing.
It can be sort of opening and closing its mouth.
All right, then I will take the potion I have, concentrate on it, and imbue it with as much magic as I can give it to help direct my aim. And I will throw my potion in.
All
This
right.
one here will, subject is in a confused state, which lowers its OL by 1
Okay.
for the rest of the scene.
Okay.
So I imagine 3 as a master of potions and stuff. Plus, do we get to know what the difficulty is before we
So
do something?
everything just has one opposition level unless that's
Okay.
altered. So this is always going to be a 7 unless something happens to change it.
Then I will use. I used 1 back then, so that's 6. I will use 4 Soma to make sure. Well, actually, then I have to roll a d6, I guess. I will use 5 soma.
Yeah,
Okay.
here comes the 1 on that one damn die.
I know. I
It's
want
always
this
the
to
time it would
succeed.
happen, wouldn't it? Okay, you
Mm.
can do that. So, the basilisk's mouth opens as it's sort of thrashing around in pain, having been struck by a bullet, giving you the opportunity to do what you wish to do.
The potion that she has in her hand, she shakes up vigorously, concentrates, takes the pose that her masters taught her for throwing things, because you don't always want to be close when you use some of these things. Concentrates really hard and lets fly with this potion. It almost starts whistling as it goes through the air and smashes its teeth and continues on in.
Very good. And as the potion flies into the creature's mouth and smashes, presumably trickling down where it has that passes for a throat, its movements become a little more erratic. It seems to be slightly dazed, and that is going to lower the opposition level. Is that for the whole scene or?
It says for the whole scene.
Okay. So the basilisk's opposition level is now at a 6 for the moment. Lovely. Would the pale medic like to do anything?
The pill medic will toss a potion to the shooter,
The
or
shooter.
Moriarty, but to improve his aim somehow.
Very nice.
Miss Snow is going to attempt to use magic again on this creature. Where did she go? Where did she go? Ah. Okay. She is also going to spend Soma to try and make up the successes needed because I feel that I will roll poorly. She's going to try again. It's the same thing you saw her attempt to do when she was trying to fight the staff in Nicola's mansion, but she's focusing a little more, and you get the sense that it's actually easier for her now inside the house where it was warm. She seems to be really struggling to sort of try and draw any cold from the air. But here you're outside. Well, you're in a cave, but it's still outside and it's quite cold here. And it seems that she's gathering much more magic energy very quickly. And this time it does not fizzle out, and she shoots what looks like a sharp ice crystal towards the creature, which impacts with a odd sound, a sort of halfway between tearing fabric and the thunk of flesh being hit. And the creature thrashes around. It's still confused from what Cersei did. It's hurt from being shot and now being hit with a chunk of ice. And it seems very displeased, but it does also seem very much alive. Now, Nikola is going to grit his teeth and a little reluctantly walk forwards, and the creature very readily will devour him. And he is now inside of the basilisk. He can't quite do anything yet. But now it's the creature's turn. So, who's the closest? Nikola already got eaten. Huh. Or maybe I should roll. That might be more fair, because I don't know if anyone's closer. Why does this keep happening with my camera? Okay. I'm gonna count 4, because Nicola's gone. And see who gets, if I count down 1, 2, 3, that's me. It's going to bite Miss Snow, or try to. She needs a defense check. Now of 6 because Cersei lowered that, but she has no silver left to spend on additional successes.
Did you
So
count
that's
Yuri in with that number?
no, I did not. I will next time. I guess I forget that he can be fought rather than simply fight.
Hmm. Does she get
No,
3
it's
because she slowed it down with her magical powers?
she doesn't get 3 because she doesn't have a descriptor that really. Oh, you're right, the magic thing. But I wasn't trying to slow it; I was trying to hurt it. So I can't
Hmm.
go for that. She can do a thing where she tries to slow it. If I'd said that, yes, you're right. I would have
Hmm.
said she can have 3, but I didn't. So the large bag-like creature is still thrashing around, and it doesn't seem to be actively trying to target anyone in particular. It's very disorientated, but it manages to flail close to Miss Snow. And it seems Nikola was right about one thing. It doesn't try to eat her exactly. It simply bites her hard on the shoulder. And then it actually continues on to somebody else because it has a gift and it can go twice.
Ooh.
Yes. And now, since you reminded me, the bag flails near a very quiet, golden haired young man who is there with some lamp oil and matches.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's in service to Cersei. He hasn't performed his task yet, and he knows how much she is depending on him.
So he knows how much he shouldn't be killed by him.
Yes.
Okay, he can have a 3 for that.
Yay!
Loyal to. Saved by loyalty.
Exactly. That's got to count for something. So that's 3. I need what? A 6? You said?
A 6 would succeed with. Or sorry. A 6 would be an outcome with cost.
All right. R. Nope, not 1. So 6. No, not 6. 3 already. So I need 4.
Oh.
Got a 1.
Yep. Okay.
And in the last spot again. Unless this is probably just organizing it. That's why it's always in the last spot. All right.
The basilisk actually does not bite Eurylochus. It doesn't seem to be going for him in particular, but what it does is sort of flail into him, sending him crashing into one of the cavern walls.
Okie dokie.
And I
Doing
suppose he gets 1 wound.
okie dokie.
All right.
Good.
It is the next exchange, and it is a player action. What would someone like to do?
Yuri would like to throw the thing and light it on fire.
Okay.
Throw the lamp oil. Gets up off the wall where he hit it hard, back to it because he was holding something in either hand and didn't want to lose either one of those. So he took that hard. He needs a 6, right?
6 will be with cost.
Again, he's in performance of a task that was directed to him. Does he get a 3?
He can have a 3.
R. Did I get another
I'm so
1?
sorry.
I did. All right. Well, he threw it. The thing just happened to flail out of the way of this this lamp oil that smashed on the ground. So he doesn't get a chance to light it on fire because it's not oiled enough, I guess.
Fair enough.
And he's busy ducking away from more flailing, so he's a little busy too.
Giant tooth bag is very distressed and flailing constantly, I guess, now.
Yes, and
Uh,
Yuri limps back towards the wall.
okay. Who would like to go next?
The pale medic will, and he will boost somebody.
Okay. He already gave one to Moriarty. So Cersei, Miss Snow, can Eurylicus? I don't know. I guess it would just be Cersei rolling anyway, so it wouldn't really make a difference. Or I guess you could try and boost the Basilisk. I don't know why you would.
He will boost Cersei.
Oh, thank you. Does this also heal or just?
One or the other. So what?
Actually, it is up to the other person. I can
Up
throw
to
the potion and either will
Oh,
boost them or heal them.
choose if it heals or if it.
So what
Okay.
does it do if it doesn't heal? It gives me a
It's a
bonus of
boost.
1?
Yep.
And
So
it
it
And you have
gives
to
you an
roll
lasts.
to keep it.
additional success
Yes.
for the rest of the scene anytime you want to use it until you roll a 5 or 6 when
Each
you
time you use
roll
it.
to check if you
Okay.
still have it.
Got it. Yes, she will gratefully take that. She pauses, thinking about taking it for a wound, but she'll instead maybe uses it and downs it to help her narrow her focus and see better in the dark.
All right. Cersei or Moriarty, I believe.
I'm just going to shoot so I can go last. It's not a big deal. I don't have any special moves.
I don't really have anything else left that I can do
I
either.
mean, you did lower its opposition level, which is pretty useful.
But since I'm in there also getting attacked, she starts spinning her staff, her very well balanced metal staff, and moves up. And as it flails close to her, standing beside Moriarty, and as it gets close to the two of them, she lashes out with the staff as she's been taught, and tries to, I don't know, maybe find the tear that Miss Snow had put in it when she hit it.
Okay. Trying to attack it with a staff.
Yeah. And I need 6.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was taking a shot at it.
Long shot.
Almost taking Moriarty's head off, but he's used to this kind of action now. Sorry. It's probably just bruised. Walk it off.
Don't worry, it's fine.
And Moriarty forgives her and then uses her as cover.
That's fair. That's fair.
And he will then snap off another shot at the hideous creature.
Okay. 6 at least.
And it hits it, but it doesn't seem to penetrate like the first shot
Ah. Just not a weak spot in
did. Just
the
not a weak spot.
in the bag exoskeleton.
And after downing the pale medic's potion, she forgot to use it.
Ah! Oh no!
I didn't use it this turn either.
Oh dear.
Next time.
Miss Snow, upon having been bitten, had cried out in pain, but then more so even than in pain, in a surprising amount of anger that you have never heard from her. She's always been rather sweet seeming, soft spoken, maybe. She now seems to be full of rage, and in fact, she looks different than she did a minute ago. Her hair, where it was light, is now dark. She looks crueler than she did before, and she stands there, and as she does, her hair begins to whip around in a sudden wind because in the space, the cave that you are in, a small snowstorm is now whipping up, and it is focused on the bag, but it is still there for everyone else. Now, it isn't going to hurt anyone because I just checked that it doesn't. What it is going to do, however, is actually lower the opposition level of everything that's within it. Now, as hunters, you don't really have opposition levels, so you're fine. I suppose Eurylochus, his opposition level will lower, but I don't think any of you wanted to fight him anyway. That's probably not a problem. But it does also mean that the Basilisk's opposition level will lower further still. It is now at a 5. And she looks furious. And maybe Cersei's heard this before. Maybe the other two of you have. You've actually heard before people call her not Miss Snow, but Lady Storm. And you'd never been quite sure of why, but the name seems a little more fitting at the moment. So, she activated her dark ego. She is now Lady Storm. And as the snowstorm is whipping around inside the cave, causing the creature perhaps even more confusion, as is not something that normally happens, you see a hand protrude from the mouth. And then another hand clutching a small hand mirror, and then Nikola, looking rather battered and worse for wear, slowly pulls himself out the mouth of the creature. And as soon as he does so, as soon as he is out and with him, the mirror of the other self, the creature stops moving. It stills, it stops thrashing, it stops biting, and then it twitches, and then it begins to shrink rapidly. And as it does so, a large number of objects begin to expel from its mouth. A variety of things. You see some gold, some jewels, some trinkets, some books, some household objects. It seems they truly did try and just throw anything at this to see if it would eat it. And eventually it is still. And it is a small bag. It still has teeth, but they aren't moving. In fact, the bag isn't moving at all. And it has become not a creature, but in fact a treasure of the order known as the Basilisk.
Shoot it, Moriarty.
Tempting.
Yuri, grab it, drag it into the oil, set it on fire.
And the snow gradually stops, and the figure that was causing the storm is looking down at the creature, and eventually she seems to revert. She no longer looks so furious, and she goes back to the person you came here with rather than the vengeful snowstorm causing sorceress.
Cersei will move towards Miss Snow. Are you all right?
Yes. Why wouldn't I be?
I think we had Lady Storm in our presence for a short while. I did not
People call me
know.
that sometimes, but
Just point to the last little swirling of the snow, and there's a whole little snowstorm in here.
how strange.
As long as you're okay. Just gesture to the trove of stuff.
Here, take something.
No, it's just that's what's left. I guess
know.
we beat it.
Oh, I'm glad that it worked. And Nikola is sort of looking down at it in cautious relief.
I look back at Moriarty and wonder why he hasn't shot it yet.
It seems inert. I did not
It
expect this to
does.
happen.
I, I'm happy it happened. Nikola, what did you do?
I did nothing other than remove the. Well, he hands the mirror back to Miss Snow as she brought it with her. I retrieved your object, and that is what happened. If I wished to theorize, I suppose I could make some guess about the creature having tied up too much of its own magical energy when relying upon the power that the object there provided, and then upon losing it was forced to return to some sort of state of hibernation, but that would be mere conjecture.
So, how did you activate it last time? Like physical touch?
I simply picked it up. I am not planning to do so again.
You used your bare hands last time?
Yes.
I'll fish around in my alchemical bag for my tongs.
Okay.
I think there's probably something else, like a rug or something else that was thrown in trying to get it to digest, and maybe we can just wrap that up in it.
You definitely can. If you pick it up with the tongs, it doesn't move, nothing happens, and if you wish to wrap it up in a rug, there is no protest from the now small inanimate bag.
Good. Do that and hand it to the pale medic.
He will take it.
He's like, "What do you want me to do with this? Give it blood?"
No,
Yeah, no.
just
Don't. That's the
maybe,
one thing you can't do.
yeah, maybe keep it wrapped up and safe until we get back and give it to the order. Is that what you guys do usually?
Yes, we'll go to Karen.
Oh, she'll be thrilled.
Now, what do we do
Uh,
with you, sir? The other issues are still outstanding.
I know what I would like to be done. I cannot say if you will agree. What I wish is to simply stay here without the threat of this creature. I have no need or desire to do any of the unsavory things that I have done. I would simply wish to remain here, living as I did before, quietly, and making my creations, which are not magical. I will stress, simply mechanical.
I am fine to allow you to do so. There is still the question of the villagers fearful for the loss of their own loved ones and for the ones that are here.
Anyone here, I will release from my service if they wish to return. They are welcome to. If they wish to stay, they also may, and I will inform the village that I no longer require any sort of pledge.
Have you considered, sir, that they may be willing to help you and work here by their own choice?
Yes, it was never really the toys I required their help with, it was more the finding of food for the creature.
Well, now that
If they wish to work here, they are welcome.
then I see no reason to pursue the matter further.
Maybe just encourage them to visit their family at least once more, just to let them know that they're doing okay and that they're working with you and not
Oh, if they
somewhere
do
else.
wish to stay, I shall of course encourage them to do so. That the reason that they did not visit before was because I was trying to discretion. I
Hmm.
suppose it was a matter of discretion.
Understood.
Very
Oh,
good.
and Yeah, can you turn those reindeer back to regular reindeer? The
He
hunters
laughs a
are
little.
also disappointed that there's not as many game animals and stuff in the area.
Well, I have no quick solution for the depletion of local wildlife. I can only assume their numbers will rise now that they will no longer be being hunted to feed a magical bag. As for the reindeer, yes, I can undo what I have done. I have no real desire to keep a herd of bloodthirsty reindeer for my own amusement or any such thing.
Maybe you could, since they listen to you, train them to pull a sled and deliver some of the things yourself rather than rely on traders in the area.
I suppose that is an interesting thought. I shall consider it. All right.
Moriarty turns and leaves the cave. He's done with that particular place.
Wonderful. Then you are able to return. The journey back is still rather longer than you wish it, but at least you are not going somewhere full of uncertainty about what you will find. You are now very certain about where you are headed. You are able to return the treasure that you have found, the basilisk, to the order, and Miss Snow is able to return the mirror of the other self as well, and is quite relieved that she does not have to try to explain to the rather formidable caretaker of the objects that she lost it. And your mission is complete. You found the missing hunter, and you also discovered why Nikola had been asking for pledges in the first place and put a stop to all of it.
Yay!
Good job.
And on Cersei's door to her room at the order, this is hung on the outside. It's like a
She's like,
little
it's a
wreath.
hat and a wreath.
Yep, exactly.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for watching. That was our playthrough of one of the scenarios from Lost Stories, the newest expansion for the Broken Tales role playing game. Thank you so much to the World Anvil Publishing for collaborating with us on this video. And if you're watching this when it was released, then happy holidays. If you're not watching this when it was released, then happy whatever day it currently is. We'll see you in our next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. The end.